Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investor channel and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. So today we're going to talk about MDEX, which is one of the most popular decentralized exchanges on the Huobi ecochain ecosystem, right? So if you guys don't know what Huobi ecochain is, it is similar to the Binance Smart Chain, but it was built by Huobi Global, which is one of the largest exchanges in the world, and it is most popular in China and many of the Southeast Asian countries, and Korea and Japan. So if you take Ethereum, right, all smart contract based projects started from Ethereum because Ethereum was the first, project that used decentralization and smart contracts together, and that pretty much became very successful in the early stages. And as more and more innovative projects started coming in, more and more people started realizing the potential opportunity to make not only really good gains but also some cool passive income due to the insane APYs that many of these projects had to offer, right? But as more and more projects started coming in on Ethereum, it attracted a lot of people and therefore the network became congested. And as you guys know, Ethereum is currently at one of the most crucial points where it really desperately needs some form of a scale, like long-term scalable solution. I know there are several projects like Omisego, which I covered recently, Matic Protocol, Loopring. These are all second layer solutions, but they're not as versatile because there's not a lot of projects that are using these protocols, right? Depending on what time you're watching this video, that may change because as more and more people want to desperately use Ethereum, there is this force from there's this pressure and force from people to get the transaction speeds improved and the transaction cost lowered on the Ethereum blockchain. And then came along Binance Smart Chain, which is currently doing incredibly well right now. And Binance Smart Chain has created this ecosystem that not only makes people access really cool DeFi projects, CDeFi projects on the Binance Smart Chain, but it's also made several other centralized exchanges such as Huobi Global notice that there is a potential opportunity to use their Huobi token, which is their native token, and make it good use for the utility that they will potentially create, right? And therefore, they created the Huobi ecosystem, which is a CDeFi uh, project that is based on the Huobi global, based by Huobi Global Group. And there's not a lot of projects, very famous projects in this ecosystem yet because it's a relatively new ecosystem. I believe that their mainnet only started like October last year or something like that. But again, very early. And as Ethereum has Uniswap, which is the most popular decentralized exchange, and Binance Smart Chain has its own version of Uniswap, which is PancakeSwap. um, Huobi ecosystem, like HECO or HECO, is also having its own Uniswap, which is MDEX, right? So if you go to the MDEX's website, which is mdex.com, you will initially see a lot of information in Chinese, but in the top right, you can click English. Since Huobi Global is working closely with the Chinese government in order to make sure that information is compliant, or a decentralized exchange, a decentralized finance ecosystem is compliant with the Chinese regulators. Most of the information is geared towards Chinese or people who are from that region. But there's also English options, but it's not available as default. So you have to pretty much search for English as an option. And you guys know that China is a huge market when it comes to decentralization and ecosystem for DeFi. So you can easily see that this project can potentially do very well as the ecosystem itself grows, right? So if you look at their website mdex.com, you can clearly see lots of information on their website. They have eco currency trading, choose mdex.com for faster and better. Again, since most of these are direct translations from Chinese and they're not really fully accurate, it may seem like this is some kind of a scam token or a scam project. But again, rest assured that this is a real project, and many people are starting to notice this project, right? Create the largest DeFi ecosystem integrating DEX, IMO, and DAO. And you can clearly see that the total value locked in USD Tether is about $1.6 billion. And it may be shocking to see that there's so much money locked in this protocol when nobody in the West is talking about it, right? The reality is a lot of this money is directly coming from China and the Southeast Asian market. And most of the innovative things that happen with regards to cryptocurrencies or any form of technology happens pretty earlier in the Asian market, and it takes a little bit of time. There's a minor lag before it comes to the Western ecosystem, right? So if you are looking to get in early, and if you believe that this ecosystem and this project has very high potential, then again, you should definitely look into this, right? So if you see, they have boardroom and they have liquidity options, and although some of the the images it looks comical, where it's not really, the graphics itself is not really put together properly in a professional manner, which I don't know why that's the case, but I can assure you that this is pretty much like a really good project that will perform well if the ecosystem obviously performs well, right? And if you want to participate in the Huobi ecosystem, you can go to several articles that mention how you can include the Huobi ecosystem on your MetaMask wallet. Similar to Binance Smart Chain, you would have to go to the custom settings and add these information so that you can link the Huobi ecosystem or ecosystem into the MetaMask wallet, right? Into your MetaMask wallet. If you don't know how to do this, again, you can watch videos. There's not a lot of YouTube videos out there, and some of these YouTube videos are going to be in some form of a different language, not in English. That's because many English YouTubers are not really aware of this ecosystem yet, and that is something of an advantage, right? If you are trying to learn about this ecosystem, you can't really learn a lot because this ecosystem is relatively new when it comes to the Western market, and therefore you would have to go through several articles which mostly will be in Chinese or some form of Southeast Asian language, which you have to use Google Translate to translate everything manually, right? But again, this is one of the links that says how you can include your how you can include the Huobi eco chain into your MetaMask wallet, right? So once you've done that, you come here to mdex.com, and you will have the opportunity to link your or connect your wallet. Make sure you choose the right network, in this case Hiko network, and you can clearly see that you have an opportunity to participate on this with multiple exchange tokens. Some of them are familiar, some of them are new, right? So if you see USDT, again, all these tokens, by the way, are on the Huobi chain, which means they are not ERC20 tokens or BEP20 tokens. I believe that they are HET20 tokens or something like that. Huobi 20 tokens, which means that you would have to create an account on Huobi exchange or use some form of a bridge to kind of like convert your existing ERC20 or BEP20 tokens. I don't think you can do BEP20 at this moment, but you can definitely convert your ERC20 tokens into their relatively their respective HECO chain, and you need to bridge them and link them, deposit them in your MetaMask wallet, right? If you are to interact with them, similar to Ethereum being the gas for the Ethereum ecosystem, and BNB being the gas of the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem. Here, Huobi token, which is HT, is the gas that you'd be paying in order to interact with smart contracts in the HECO or HECO system, right? So just bear that in mind, and make sure to have a very small amount of HEC, HT token, Huobi token, in your MetaMask account before you interact, because you would have to pay gas fees, right? The gas fees are like very cheap, and it's cheaper than Binance Smart Chain. If you're paying like a few cents to 10 cents on Binance Smart Chain, in Huobi token, you'll be paying in this ecosystem, you'll be paying less than 1 cent when it comes to transaction fees, right? So it's pretty good. It's not like Binance Smart Chain is expensive anyway, but if you are looking to try this ecosystem and pay even less gas fees, then you have this opportunity here, right? So again, you can clearly see that the numbers are increasing, because they're kind of like rewarding people based on how they provide liquidity. It's similar to how PancakeSwap or Uniswap or SushiSwap works, right? So what you do is, if you want to use a swap function, if you see swap, you can clearly swap some of their Huobi based tokens. If you see HT is obviously there, you can even get Huobi's version of Aave. Again, this is not ERC20 version of Aave. This is Huobi chain Aave, right? So just bear that in mind. You can get some new exotic tokens like bags, bag, B, BLC, and so on and so forth, right? There's several tokens here that again, you have to do your research before you buy them. Don't just buy any blind token, they could be a scam. So do your research before buying any of these tokens. But if you can also get Huobi's version of Ethereum, and Filda, you can get all these different exotic tokens. HBCH, you can get Bitcoin Cash, and that version that is basically in H before it, because it's in the Huobi ecosystem. You can get HBO, HBSV. If you have some Bitcoin Satoshi vision, you might as well use that in this ecosystem to get some yield farming benefits. So if you have a little bit of Satoshis, or spare few Satoshis, or to a few Bitcoins, right, that you wanna do yield farming, or provide liquidity or something like that, you can bridge it to the Huobi version of Bitcoin, which is called HBTC, and use it in this ecosystem, right? You have H dot, which is Huobi's Polkadot, H file, and so on and so forth. Litecoin, you have Litecoin here, and again, Huobi's own stablecoin, HUSD. You can even bring Tezos, Lava, which is also a really interesting project, Link, and MDEX, right? So you can clearly buy an MDEX. You can also get nulls and synthetics. So there's so many familiar projects here, YFI, Uni, and USDT. So you can use this exchange, which is a decentralized exchange in the Huobi eco chain, to exchange and get different tokens, not just new, but also some of the most familiar Binance Smart Chain, not Binance Smart Chain, like Ethereum based projects, and you can get some of those tokens as well, right? So if you look at pool, again, similar to how Uniswap and PancakeSwap works, once you buy your tokens in the swap function, you can provide liquidity by the same method that you used in Uniswap or PancakeSwap. You just click add liquidity, and you provide equal volumes or equal amounts of the tokens, and then you pay a little bit of gas fee, and boom, you are a liquidity provider, right? And if you see trading, they have an option where you can trade different tokens, and they are also rewarding people who are trading between certain pairs of tokens. Let's say, for example, if you trade between Ethereum and USDT, you are entitled to receive a small reward. Although the percentages may be initially misleading, you won't really get that kind of a percentage of the token when you trade, right? I believe that there's a weird calculation, which again, it's beyond the scope of this video. But once you you understand how it works, you can kind of like use the trade function to trade between some of the tokens and get some MDEX or MDX token as a reward. And you have multiple options to choose from in your trading, and it's pretty cool because some of them have really high percentage rewards. So you might as well, if you have some spare tokens that you want to use to mint MDX tokens, you can do that in the trading page, right? Again, they don't have a lot of docs on their website, which you can use to read through to understand some of the parameters. But again, as the project starts growing, I believe that more and more people will start making videos and making explanations of how it works. But if you click at the liquidity option, you can clearly see that you can see the number of the dollar terms locked, the value of dollar locked in this protocol, MDEX LP. You can clearly see that they have some form of a liquidity provider rewards, where you can kind of stake the liquidity provider tokens and earn MDEX or MDX, and you can earn a small, depending on how much liquidity you provide, you can earn a small share of the 214,000 MDX that's allocated per day in this particular pool, and so on and so forth. You have multiple different pairs. Most people like to use the um, you know uh, MDX slash USDT, which is pretty much the popular option. But if you have some, some Ethereum or some Huobi tokens itself, wrapped Huobi tokens, or wrapped Huobi tokens along with HBTC, then you can provide it in several other, staking contracts, right? So that's pretty cool. Again, I'm not gonna go much in detail about this, because it's pretty much like how you earn cake from pancake swap pools, right? Like some of those syrup pools that you can use. This is similar to that, right? If you go to boardroom, this is where some of the interesting things happen. Basically, let the data be open and transparent, let the rules and contracts execute, let MDEX holders enjoy long-term ecological benefits and governance rights. So you will be able to participate in some of the governance proposals in this protocol. And again, if you see the APYs for wrapped Huobi token is at 383.22% per annum, and it's pretty cool, right? So that is when you pretty much stake the MDEX USDT liquidity pool. You will be able to earn a share of this one, and the percentage APYs are obviously pretty cool. And you can do the same for staking just MDEX itself, MDX itself. You'll be able to earn 54% of wrapped Huobi tokens, right? And again, some of the APYs are pretty good. Again, for wrapped Huobi token, MDEX liquidity pool, if you're a liquidity provider for this pool, then you can earn 225.99%. Again, these numbers, these APYs are highly dynamic, so bear that in mind. If you stake MDEX, you can also earn MDEX, right? Again, there are several contracts, and they also have an option of repurchasing and burning that will potentially increase the MDEX price in the long run. And MDEX will inject the corresponding proportions of daily platform income into the pool of funds to be repurchased, and the repurchase will automatically execute when the smart contract is triggered by the repurchase price. If it is not triggered, it will continue to accumulate into the repurchase fund pool. So they have like a detailed mechanism of how they plan to repurchase and burn. It has to be meeting a certain criteria, which again, if you dig deep, you'll be able to understand that. But that's beyond the scope of this video, right? So again, pretty much like Uniswap and PancakeSwap, with a little bit of an extra feature where they have this boardroom feature, which is not really that unique, but it is unique in a way where you get new innovative proposals that's passed on, and you get some wrapped Huobi tokens or any other tokens as determined by the token holders, right? So pretty cool ecosystem. Potential to grow in the long run depends on the Huobi eco chain itself, obviously. But again, if you feel like you missed PancakeSwap and Uniswap, again, this potential project could be the Uniswap of the Huobi eco chain, right? So you need to obviously have that in mind. So let's look at the CoinGecko page for MDEX, and if you see, it's currently the 87th ranked token by market cap on CoinGecko, and that is pretty impressive for a project that not a lot of people are talking about. You can see that it's already crossed the 100th ranking, and it's pretty much within within range of crossing the going into the top 80th ranked token, right? So or top 70th or 50th or 60th ranked token pretty soon, and that's pretty impressive. This is all because of all the hype from the Asian market and not a lot of hype from the Western market. But if you see, if the Western market starts realizing the potential new and potential opportunity to compete with the Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum ecosystem, this opportunity exists within the Huobi ecosystem. They will kind of like rush into this project and many other projects within the Huobi ecosystem, and the price would literally like skyrocket, right? So the current price of MDX token is $5.60, and it's kind of like declined to 14.2% in the past 24 hours again. And this is because of the fact that many of the people in the Binance Smart Chain are starting to take profits, and that's kind of slowing down the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem. And this is also the case for MDEX. I believe that many of the this token had been performing really well in the past 2 weeks, and it's only a matter of time that people start taking their profit, and the token price kind of dips a bit. So this could be a potential good entry point for buying this token if you are considering this token, right? So if you look at market cap, it's $687 million in market cap. Again, if you take any swapping protocol, right? Any ecosystem, any new ecosystem, and if you take the swapping protocol or the DEX protocol would be the only first best performing protocol, because most people get exposed to a ecosystem based on its decentralized exchange, right? So that's why if you see PancakeSwap started like rising up the rank pretty quickly, because it is offering people an opportunity to buy BEP20 tokens, right? Similarly, Uniswap was also rising above the ranks really quickly because it was offering people the opportunity to buy new and exclusive ERC20 tokens through their platform, right? Similarly, MDEX would be the place where you can potentially find some really good quality blue chip ecosystem based gems, which will make MDEX as the go-to place for the ecosystem, right? So based on that particular parameter itself, you can see that this market cap is relatively undervalued. Although it is considered as a mid-cap coin, for a DEX, it is pretty much undervalued, right? And every ecosystem, if it needs to succeed, it needs to have a successful DEX, and if this DEX succeeds, then it means a lot for the entire ecosystem, right? So based on that, I believe that this project has a potential to grow way too much by the end of this year. So that's something to look into. If you look at the circulating supply, I believe that they don't really have a max supply, but similar to every decentralized exchange ecosystem, the inflation rates are relatively high, and there's no real set max supply for many tokens. Or if the max supply does exist, it's probably like 1 billion, sorry, more than 500 billion, or sometimes it's 1 trillion tokens, right? Similarly, I believe that this token is also like an inflationary token with the no fixed max supply. Again, I may be wrong, but don't quote me on this. I believe that the current circulating supply, as mentioned here, is 224 million tokens, and I think 124. If you click the question mark button, you can clearly see that the team funds is removed from the equation, and the current actual estimated circulating supply is 124 million tokens, right? Again, I wouldn't really worry about the fact that the max supply doesn't really exist for this project, because again, as I mentioned, Uniswap has, I think, 500 billion tokens or something as a max supply, and it's highly inflationary. But now it's at $30 per token right now, and the same with PancakeSwap. As PancakeSwap is being, as PancakeSwap started growing, you can clearly see more and more people started buying in cake tokens and locking it in order to earn another token, right? Similarly, MDEX is also going to have the same fate, which means that at some point the buying pressure would be so high that even if there are more tokens circulating, it will still be like the demand would be so high that the circulating supply or the max supply would not really matter, right? So that's also going to be the case for MDEX, right? So if you look at the charts, it's let's look at the maximum charts, and if you see, like, the token has been around since, early this year, right? And I mean late this year, and the data is available for from 27th of January. It was worth $3.22, right? And it had this, dip, and then, it kind of recovered mildly, and it still started going down. There's not a lot of activity happening till the, mid of February, where it started shooting up like crazy, right? And this is all because of the fact that, when Binance Smart Chain started performing well, the anticipation of a new project performing really well kind of made this token go up as well. The reason is people started trying to gather around Binance Smart Chain and trying to get in to the project as quickly as they can, and the price of Binance Smart Chain went up ridiculously high. The pancake swap was also growing at a rapid rate, and people were looking at what would be the next pancake swap, right? And people wanted to find a project which not only could potentially succeed as well as PancakeSwap, but also is a part of a different ecosystem, which also has some big centralized exchange backing behind it, where more and more projects may potentially get built on it, and people started noticing the ecosystem that falls in all of these criterias, and therefore they started purchasing it, right? But this is again not because of the fact that this is because of the Western, retail investors starting to buy in. It's some of the early adopters who were really lucky to get in. They caused this spike, right? But again, you can clearly see that they have taken profits, and it's starting to go down. I believe that this token will continue to go down and probably retest at maybe at $5 or even $4.50 range, and it will definitely rebound back to the upside, right? And as more and more tokens are being locked, and as they're proposing to add more and more liquidity provider opportunities for the ecosystem, this token will potentially perform really well, and it could even cross the $10 mark, right, if everything goes well. Again, so if you look at the Bitcoin comparative, you can clearly see that it is having a similar pattern to that of the dollar comparative, and the Bitcoin comparative also had a steep decline. But if you feel like you are confident with the project being successful, then you can still buy it and hold it for the long term if you have a few spare satoshis, that is. But otherwise, I would probably suggest you to wait till you get a more pronounced dip, and then you can probably buy it and sell it for the short term if you're a short term hodler for this token, right? So that's that. And if you see the exchanges, it's available on the Huobi Global Exchange, which is pretty obvious. It's also available on some less well-known exchanges, and I wouldn't really recommend buying it there. You can also get this token in the MDEX exchange itself. You can get it in a decentralized way on their own swap, on their own swapping, interface, and you need to pay Huobi token as the gas fee, right? So, what are my final thoughts on this? So, if you look at Huobi ecosystem, right? What I would say is there is still a lot of speculation around the Huobi eco chain, and it may provide a better opportunity for people to invest. But if you see, Binance Smart Chain is clearly winning the race at the moment, because it is kind of like faster and cheaper than Ethereum. I mean, the worst fees that you could pay on the Binance Smart Chain at the current rate is probably slightly more than 10 cents per transaction, right? And people are pretty much okay with that, right? So the Huobi eco chain although it offers much faster and much cheaper transactions than the Binance Smart Chain, since its market share is currently only focused within the Chinese, Southeast Asian market, it's going to take some time for the Huobi eco chain to kind of like reach some form of recognition in the Western field, right? So therefore, this poses a very high risk for any Huobi eco chain projects, including MDEX, and therefore I wouldn't really. Again, I'm not saying I'm not optimistic about the ecosystem or this entire project in general, right? What I'm saying is, if you're planning to invest in this project, I would suggest to initially start off with a smaller, part of your portfolio. Maybe start off with as low as $100 if you are really interested in it. Again, please do your own research. Don't take my suggestion as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you are planning to invest in this token, maybe start off with $100. Test the waters to see how it goes, and maybe you can put in no more than $1,000 maximum initially, right? And once you see the project, being talked about as casually and as normally as how Binance Smart Chain was initially being talked about before the Binance Smart Chain started pumping up, then you can probably comfortably put more and more money. Okay, again, it depends on your risk tolerance, it depends on how big your portfolio is. I personally haven't invested more than $500 in this project, in this ecosystem, and this ecosystem is very new. There's not a lot of reputable or well-known projects. There are some scams. Some of them look really shady, but it's hard to say it's a scam because, firstly, all of the projects in the Huobi eco chain is regulated by the Chinese government, right? It seems like the Chinese government wants to play a bigger role in regulating projects. So I don't think any scammy project would dare to like fight the Chinese government in this ecosystem. But at the same time, some of them have really poorly built website, and many of the times you can only see Chinese and there's not even English option, right? So MDEX is the only one that's although it's not like really like convincingly good, it's still better than multiple other website interfaces and information. It has more information than any other Huobi eco chain projects, right? So I would definitely be very cautious with every single penny that you invest in this project. But again, this project may potentially explode, and this token in particular may go 100x. We don't know, right? It's still very early. Although it's in the 87th ranking, it may still go up, it may still go down. There's so much uncertainty with this project, right? And this entire ecosystem in general. So again, as I mentioned, if you want to invest in this project, please do your own research. Try to understand as much as you can. There's also another important website that provides you with a lot of information, that is called DeFi Box, which is pretty much the place where you can find a lot of information with regards to the Huobi eco chain itself. Again, it's not this DeFi Box, it's DeFi Box space Hiko, which is what you would have to type in, and you would be able to find lots of cool information. defibox.com, sorry. If you go to defibox.com, again, most of the information is in Chinese. You kind of have to find English, which is in the bottom. You can clearly see in the corner. You can click English. I can't click it because of my phone. Oh yeah, there you go. Now it's in English. So this is basically the DeFi station of the Huobi eco chain. You can find a lot of cool projects here. They have their own version of the basis cash or B dollar from the Binance Smart Chain, and this is called $balance.cash. Lava Swap is another popular Hiko based project, but again, the website is kind of like very amateur, right? The design of the website is pretty amateur. You can also participate in NFT Hero or Earn DeFi, B Swap. You can pretty much look at several of their website and do your own research to find out which Huobi eco chain project that you want to invest in. but a lot of these projects don't have lot of you know information that would help you do your own research, right? So that's something that you need to be very careful about. And as I mentioned yesterday in my auto farm video, if you want a safe bet to make some consistent income with very high APYs, you can go to auto farm and select the HECO option and add your MDEX USD Tether liquidity provider tokens and earn about 1000 plus APY, right? Which is incredibly crazy, but that is another option for you if you are looking to hold this token for long term, right? Again, whatever you do, don't put too much money, especially money that you're not looking forward to losing, because if something bad happens to this system or the ecosystem itself or this token itself, you are the one to be blamed and no one else, right? So please do your own research, be very cautious. Again, remember guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys. If you like my video, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.